Oh, and we're live, guys. We are live. It's Thursday night. One step closer to the weekend. And you can tell I'm excited about the weekend, can't you, guys?
Yes, absolutely.
That's the band's back together. I'm just waiting. Thanks. I'm just waiting for Nickelodeon to come on. And well, in fact, he's no longer Nickelodeon. To me, he is Louis Armstrong.
Yes.
Because he lost his voice. God love him. So I am going to share out, guys. How is everybody? How the devil you been, Mr. Seaton?
I've been hanging around with my buddies in Greece for the last week. So
fantastic.
I recharged my batteries and good to go.
How the bloody dare you leave me? Who do you think you are?
I'm me.
You.
I can do what I pretty damn well want.
Exactly.
Exactly. How?
No. I needed a break. I'd done way too much, and I was burning myself out. So I took preventative measures and went, "That's it. I'm going over to see my mum," and we disappeared.
That's it.
To be fair, that's what you needed. Was obviously that holiday. Sometimes we all need a good holiday, to be fair, guys. See when you're doing, I don't think people realise how much that podcasts actually take it out you. Especially when you've got other things going on in your life, when you're working, when you're doing other things, and got families to look after. I don't think people realise how much it actually does come out. I'm just going to say a quick hellos. Hi Emma, hey Noreen, hey Louisa, hey Adrian.
Yeah, I mean it hasn't helped obviously because of doing the podcasts, doing my writing, my paranormal investigating, and all the new project that I'm doing with the very handsome Mr. Fred Batt. Which I'm allowed to announce it now because
go ahead.
We finally have managed to sort everything out, and we are going to be doing an investigation on Halloween at London's finest Jacobean manor house, Charlton House.
Oh wow!
Oh wow! Thank you.
It's a big project. It's not just a paranormal event with Fred and myself going around with the guests. We have got something special that we're doing as well for America.
So
it's pretty good going.
Adrian says that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Adrian is coming on. Hopefully, fingers crossed at Halloween. He is coming on with David. Hopefully, fingers crossed, big massive fingers crossed. So it will be really, really good. I'm looking forward to Halloween. I'm
huge fingers crossed.
Well, I could always cross them that way or that way, if you may.
No, that's naughty.
It's not very professional, Erwin, to be doing sort of this on live.
But then you can't do that either, can you?
I am saying absolutely nothing. Adrian says, I'll make sure we can go on that night. Awesome. I'm so looking forward to having Adrian. It'll be good, and David as well. It will be really good. So after I stop yapping my shit, tonight, guys, we are talking about Witches and Pendle Hill. Now, I've always wanted to go there. Really, really always wanted to go there. Lynn, however, has actually got and experience because she was there. So tonight, guys, she's in the driving seat. I'm just the woman that does the comments tonight. Up here comes Louis Armstrong. What a wonderful one.
It's a wonderful world.
And do you know what?
Do you see trees of green?
Do you know what? I've got to say, I felt so sorry for our Nick. I went on the phone the other night, hoping to catch up with Nick, was looking forward to it. And as soon as the 3 seconds into the conversation, I went, "Oh, it's Louis Armstrong," and I do need to apologise. Like, I couldn't help but laugh all the way through the conversation.
Wow,
you're good. My voice is still all cracked, but I got my voice back though, so that's a good thing.
That's good. Good.
Well, Adrian says, "Louis." Nori says, "Lynn, your hair looks lovely tonight." Hi, Tracy. Hi, Nicola.
I've decided to come as a witch tonight because I'm going to do Pendle Witch, right? So I've got my witchy hair.
I've gone with the Rutger hairstyle.
Yeah. Absolutely fantastic.
And I've just came like the old hag for down the road.
That's good.
You don't look as if you've, Lois, you don't look as if you've got any hair because of the background. You look bald.
Do you know what? Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is, Wayne? I'm coming out in sympathy for you. I want to have the same hair as you, but I'm no blonde.
I've got to re-dye my hair because my tan doesn't go with my hair.
Oh,
it looks silly.
I've saying nothing. Louisa said went there other year for a weekend event with a paranormal group. Simon Entwistle, Entwistle, am I pronouncing that right? Being being the guide. It was a brilliant weekend. Noreen says you always look lovely, Lo. Don't shoot yourself down.
Yeah.
I like to poke the bear. So Lenny baby is going to do a Nick tonight, and what she's doing is obviously Nick does his presentations. Well, Lenny has been researching Pendle Hill with the books away up here, and she's absolutely sorry. I'm getting a bit distracted, folks.
God, yeah, it's the comment that Adrian just said.
Yeah, that's who's distracted me again. Nick, you need to talk about the planners of that Michigan Paracon. They took your voice and they turned it broken. So I'm going to pass over to Lynn because Lynn's got to tell a story.
Yeah.
Enjoy. Oh, wait, no, Wayne.
Sorry?
Because
you did that.
Yeah, I was pointing the Lynn.
Oh.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
You're killing me.
Right then. Yes. Okay. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank Michael Roberts and for his guidance when we went to Pendle. Absolutely amazing. I absolutely loved it. I will be going back there, but I'm absolutely fascinated with the Pendle Witches. You lot need to go there just to feel the atmosphere. It's just awesome, right? So I'm going to tell you the story and I want you to be patient because I think this is absolutely amazing, right? Right, here we go, folks. So in 1612, a woman in a courtroom accused of killing 3 men through witchcraft. She is presented with a confession which she denies. Then a girl is brought to testify against her. The girl bursts into tears as the woman screams at her desperately, and the woman is removed back to the dungeons. Once the girl has her audience, she jumps up onto the table and calmly denounces the woman as a witch. She is, in fact, the woman's own daughter, and she was 9 years old. Janet Device is the key witness in the trial that would lead to the execution of 10 people, including all the members of her own family. Who does that? You know what I mean? Who does that? The 12
Thanks, Joe.
accused, yeah, the 12 accused of witchcraft lived in the area
Full of her.
surrounding Pendle Hill. Are you okay?
Aye, sorry, it was just something went down the wrong hole there. Sorry, I forgot I was on alive. Sorry, I do apologise, folks.
Okay. The 12 accused of witchcraft lived in the area surrounding Pendle Hill in Lancashire and charged with the murders of 10 people by the use of witchcraft. They were tried at Lancaster Assizes and on the 18th to the 19th of August in 1612. Along with Sam Lesbury, witches and others in a series of trials that have become known as the Lancashire Witch Trials. I think they must be, along with Salem, really, they're the most famous in the world, aren't they? One was tried at York Assizes on the 27th of July, 1612. Another died in prison. Of the 11 who went to trial, 9 women and 2 men, 10 were found guilty and executed by hanging. 1 found not guilty. Alison Device confessed to Roger Nowell that she had accused John Law, the peddler, to become ill. She had cursed him because he ignored her when she asked him for some pins. He fell down and couldn't move. He, in fact, most probably had a stroke because all the left side of his body had stopped working. Alison felt so guilty about John Law, she had to confess to using witchcraft. Alison accused her grandmother and 2 neighbours of being witches as well. Roger Nowell began arresting the suspects named by Alison on the 2nd of April. Alison Device, her grandmother, Old Demdike, their neighbour, Old Chattock, and her daughter, Anne Redfern, were taken to Lancaster Castle prison and were kept in the bottom of a tower in the dungeon. It is known as the Witches' Tower, and all the accused were interrogated. 8 further suspects, including of Alison's family, joined them in the tower. Altogether, there were 12 suspected witches in the tower, along with another 8 prisoners who were unrelated to the witch trial, and they were all in a small dungeon together. There was no toilet facilities, there was no fresh water, they were ill, so they were all just stuck there together. The conditions were terrible. 2 of them were in their 80s. They were there for 4 months. They were just ordinary people who had been accused of witchcraft. Roger Nowell was now heading a high-profile case which could make his career if he could get convictions. All Nowell had was accusations and counter-accusations. What he needed was proof. The judge at the trial was Sir Edward Bromley. People packed the courtroom to see the sensational trial. Roger Nowell was the persecuting magistrate, and guilty verdict could be a great boost to his career. Thomas Potts was the court clerk. Over the next 2 days, 19 people stood trial, accused of using witchcraft to harm or kill. There should have been 20, but Alison Device's grandmother, Old Demdike, had already died in the dungeon in the Witches' Tower. Alison Device felt so much remorse for maiming the peddler that she didn't even try to defend herself. She was found guilty. The next to take the stand was Alison's mother, Elizabeth Device. Elizabeth was accused of going to Malkin Tower and dining with people who she knew to be witches. They were talking about killing the constable and blowing up the Lancaster Castle. Elizabeth denied everything that they accused her of. The case was deadlocked between accusations and denial. But Roger Nowell had a secret weapon, Elizabeth Device's own daughter, Janet Device, who was only 9 years old. She accused her mother of being a witch. Her mother began screaming and shouting at her daughter. So Elizabeth was taken back to the dungeon. Janet's confession was accepted and the fate of the witches was sealed. Janet named names. The wife of Hugh Hargreaves, Christopher Howgate, Elizabeth, his wife, Dick Miles and his wife, Christopher Hiles of the Thorney Home and his wife. Her brother James Device had been a witch for 3 years. Nobody knew why she confessed against her family. At the end of the 2-day trial, 9 people found guilty of witchcraft. Janet's entire family were convicted. Elizabeth Device, the mother, James, the brother, Elizabeth Southerns, Akerol Demdike, died in the Witches' Tower. Alison Device was the sister. On the 20th of August, the day after the trial, the 10 convicted witches were taken to the Gallows Hill to be hung. It was very gruesome. The drop wasn't high enough to break their necks, and they agonisingly died of slow strangulation. Oh, it must have been awful. 22 years later, Janet Device is listed, the one that gave all the names in. She was listed in a trial in Lancaster in a group of 20 witches. She was most probably convicted and died in jail. The Pendle Witches trials began 100 years of institutional murder in England, and the blame for that lies in King James. This caused hundreds of innocent people being sentenced to death. Janet Preston was sent to trial at York Assizes. She lived in Gisborne, which was then in Yorkshire, hence being sent for trial to York. She was accused of murder by witchcraft of a local landowner, Thomas Lister of Westby Hall. Executed on the 29th of July, 1612, by hanging, and the Navesman, the present site of York Racecourse. So Lancaster Assizes, all the others lived in Lancashire. So there was Alison, Elizabeth, James, Anne Whittle, Anne Redfern, Alice Nutter, Catherine Hewitt, John Bullock, Jane Bullock, and they all hanged at Gallows Hill in Lancaster on the 20th of August, 1612. And there was one found not guilty, and that was Alice Gray.
Oh, wow.
So really, that's quite gruesome, isn't it?
It is really gruesome. You've done so well. Give me 2 minutes and I'll read the comments. Hey Joe, hey Holly, me, what I did to distract you. Oh, what did you do? You hey Joe, Joe, sorry, I'm Electric Witch.
When I saw that message came up, my first thought was Electric Witch.
Wow.
It's probably not
eclectic.
Eclectic. So I thought that Adrian says Salem, then Pendle, I believe. Pickle Tom. In fact, I'll wait till Nick comes back and I'll flash you up because he loves shouting Pickle Tom.
The interesting part of all that, because I know the historical timeline of all these witch trials.
Yeah.
Now, it all started with the transformation of the Christian Bible by James I in 1611.
Yes, it did.
James I had the Bible altered to include witches.
Yeah.
Which up until that point, witches weren't in the Bible. So James I added the witches in 1611. Pendle Hill was in 1612. That's when the trial started. And then Matthew Hopkins, Witchfinder General, started his rampage in Essex in 1645. Then came the Salem witch trials in 1692.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So literally in those 81 years, all of those witch trials came one after the other.
Yeah.
However,
Yep.
the time spans were very short on all of them. They didn't seem to last that long. And although witchcraft was a big thing in them days, you know, you did anything differently and you were declared a witch. You didn't run.
Yep.
So obviously, it sounds a bit strange that, you know, what are we doing today? If we have a difference of opinion, we're far right. So, but that's besides the point. But yeah, in them days, if you did things differently, like used dandelions to heal certain ailments, stinging nettles, the nettle seeds,
Yeah.
you know, all natural remedies that were used to heal something, if you use them, you were labelled a witch.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you
That's
know
all they had, though, wasn't it, Wayne? That's all they had in these villages and hamlets.
Yeah.
They couldn't afford the poor people. Couldn't afford a doctor.
Why do you think, right? Why do you think I saved it? Because I was waiting for you to shout Piggle Tom, and then I remembered your voice. Tom says, speaking of
the Armstrong voice, Piggle Tom.
Aye. Tom says, speaking of that, distract here's Tommy. Nicola says, Lynn, that was brilliant.
Thank you.
Nicola can remember what you're saying that, Wayne. Tom says, oh my God, that would make you pee standing up, she's a witch. Noreen thinks, I think in those times, if you're upset, somebody they accuse you of being a witch to get back. Do you know what, guys? I want to say, first of all, Lynn, you've blown me away because you've put so much love and research into what you've done tonight. So you've blown me away with that. I think that is amazing. It's really, really amazing what you've done.
I mean, things like the Pendle Hill witches and the witch trials, full stop, are quite interesting simply because it just proves how one person's ideology can cause so much havoc.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, just on something like that, they've just decided, you know, you do things differently, so we're going to persecute you for this.
Yeah.
And for me, Matthew Hopkins literally rampaged in the area I live in now.
Really?
Manningtree in Essex, where he died, is literally a 10-minute drive down the road. I know where he is buried.
You know where he's buried?
I know where Matthew Hopkins is buried, and I've been there. And it's literally, you can't get to it. It's a pauper's grave. No one really knows it's there, because where he was originally buried, the church burnt down.
Wow. Do you know what? It gets better, doesn't it?
And that's a place called Mistley Towers. If you Google Mistley Towers and look on the images, it is 2 towers, and a church used to stand in the middle of these 2 towers. Now, the only thing that is left is those 2 towers standing either side and the graveyard of the church. The church itself burned down. So his body was moved. And then there was problems with the second church he was buried at. So his body was removed again and hidden in an undisclosed location.
Wow.
I've been to this location, and it is now on private property, and you can't get access without the owner's permission.
Right.
But they have purposely planted trees around the grave and bushes, and you literally cannot stand anywhere near the grave.
Right.
Literally, there's a lot of foliage near it, but you can't physically get to it.
Yeah.
But he is literally buried 10 minutes down the road from me. And I've stood on the Dunking Bridge. I've done an investigation.
Oh, wow.
3 investigations. And I've stood on the Dunking Bridge that he used to test for witches.
Disgusting, that is,
isn't it? It is such an oppressive feeling, just standing there and looking into the water of the lake below.
Wayne,
just doesn't look right.
Can I ask you, do you know when you were stood on that Dunking Bridge? I need to know this, right? So if you didn't actually know that was a Dunking Bridge, so say you were just like a tourist, but you didn't know, you were just walking, or a walker, and you were there, Could you get that feeling? Is it a feeling that you would normally, if you didn't know, would you be able to pick up on oppression in that area?
If you didn't know the history of the place and you were sensitive, you would pick it up straight away.
Right. Okay.
It stands out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
Literally, if you're sensitive, you will stand on that bridge and it'll be like walking into a brick wall.
Yeah.
You know straight away there's something not right about it. The problem I had was because I knew the history of Matthew Hopkins and where he died and what he did. I already knew that was the Dunking Bridge, and I'd known the history, obviously living locally for what is now 50 years. I knew all about it. So of course I've gone there knowing that was the Dunking Bridge, but it was what happened while we were standing there that was more impressive to me, because where that lake is now, I say where the lake is now like it moved. Where the lake is, it wasn't 2 miles down the road and someone thought, you know what, we'll move it over here. Where the lake is, somebody had opened a farm and they had loads of ducks and geese and animals there. But it had since been closed down and it's now just open as a little cafe. But actually standing on that bridge and looking in the water and just being quiet, you heard things in the water that weren't there.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
So on a couple of occasions, I mean, I was there with Mark Manley. Mark had come with me to investigate it, and we were standing there with our torches. And Mark's got this massive torch, and it's almost like broad daylight when he switches it on.
Yeah.
And he switched it on, and you could see right across the lake. And there was nothing on the water whatsoever. There was a few branches sticking out the water and a couple of branches going into the water. But when he turned the torch off and we just stood there looking into the lake, you could hear, to me, what sounded like something being dipped into the water. So I
know what you mean. Yeah. So do you think you were picking up on
I think I was picking up on the witches being dunked in the water.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Because I turned to Mark and I said, something's hitting that water. So we turned the torches on and we'd be looking about the lake and there's nothing in the water. We'd check the branches that were coming out of the water and going into the water. None of them were moving. There was no ripples or anything. But you could clearly hear what sounded like something being dipped into the water and then taken out again. And you could even hear trickling water coming off it after it had come back out the water.
Do you know what, Wayne? It would be worth going back there, right? And just sitting on a nice clear day, sitting all night and recording. Just sit quietly and record.
Well, oddly enough, before Tamsin was born, that was 6 years ago, me and Ellen used to go and sit down by the Dunking Bridge every midnight.
Brill.
We used to do something called the midnight run, and we would just get in the car and we'd drive off somewhere and we'd just sit there and talk or listen to the radio, whatever. And our favourite spot was going down to Manningtree and sitting by the Dunking Bridge. And it was strange that you could obviously hear swans and geese and whatnot walking up and down the waterfront, but you could also hear something coming from where the Dunking Bridge was. And then when we investigated there as Truth Beyond Paranormal, and we were there during the day. Normally, most paranormal investigators go at night time, but the Thorn Hotel, which is also haunted, are responsible for the keys to the towers.
Oh, really?
And we could only get the keys during the day.
Right. Okay.
So we got given the keys, and we had done experiments there where we'd actually rung one of our other mobile phones, put one mobile phone in one tower and one mobile phone in the other, and started talking to the other phone.
Yeah.
And we were getting strange sounds. We were getting stuff that, we'd say, oh, that's a passing car. That's a couple of people walking past. But we're in one tower. the phone's in another, and we're trying to communicate through, but we're getting sounds that we couldn't pinpoint.
Yeah.
That's mental.
Then when we took the keys back, we stayed at the towers, and we actually stayed in the graveyard, and we used the Connect 360 ghost tube camera, and we already knew that with the ghost tube camera, anything with a back to it, like the back of a chair or a gravestone, will show up as a figure.
Yeah.
The 360 camera automatically fills in the blanks and puts in arms, legs, and a head because it's seen the shoulders of a gravestone. But we were getting a figure standing next to a gravestone.
Now that's interesting.
And when we asked it to come towards us, it got closer to us.
Oh, amazing.
And
I'm going to quickly run into the comments, guys, because they're building. Noreen says, I think some men use the accusations to get rid of their wives. Nick Millay said, holy cow, that guy Tom now has a fascination with pickles. That means only one thing, he's a witch. Off with the head. Tom says, okay, just wanted to pop in and say hi. Hi, there's pickles. Now, back to editing my video's got a lot to do. Must be a terrifying time, Noreen said, and Tom's laughing. Hey Robert, hey Richard. Nick says, oh my god, Wayne, gonna have to do a live from the bridge.
Yeah.
Hey lovely, hey Craig. And Andy says, hi guys, hope you are well. I'm sorry guys, tonight I'm lost in translation in this show tonight. So, when it comes to witches, I've got a fascination with witches. I have witchy stuff. I love anything to do with witches. I have been at an investigation where I have picked up a witch who was there. I was actually with Paranormal Footprints, and I'm sure Jacqueline was there when she was doing her tour of Scotland. And we were walking through this really, really dark place. And I just suddenly got this flash, as I call it, of seeing a witch. And I said, a witch has been through here. I really do think there has been a witch here. Because it's what I could see. So it turned out there had been a witch there. So it was quite interesting to how I picked up like the whole witch. That's why I want to go to Pendle Hill. I want to go to Pendle Hill for one of two reasons. Obviously, because it's something to do with witches. But the other reason is to see what I can pick up on.
Yeah. And it's funny that because when I went, we'd done a walk at night time. We had a lovely lady who joined us and she gave us a full story, of the area. And we got taken down this little track and we came to an area where there was a little bridge on the right. So we just stood there and on the left, there was a gateway to a field. Now I started picking up on this man coming along the field. He wasn't, it was a spirit, and he was there, and he affected me and he affected my friend Lorraine. And I said, oh, can you feel that, Lorraine? She said, yeah. She said, oh, it's here. She said, yeah. And he was here, he was there. All their machines went off, the K2s, the whole lot went berserk. And this guy came running over to me and he said, I can't believe you just said that. You and your friend just said that and it's just all got off. I said, because we're picking up on it. We pick up on it. Well, my friend is, let's just say she's a white witch. She's beautiful. I love Lorraine, yeah. She's my mentor.
Oh.
But the place is amazing. Me and you will have to arrange to get together meet somewhere, and I'll pick you up from a train station, and we will go to Pendle. We'll do that for next year.
Oh, wow.
We'll do it for next year, and we'll go and do one from there. And we can do a live stream, can't we?
We could, and that would be amazing. That would be amazing. I would love to do that, definitely, without a shadow of doubt. I'm planning on. So I've got someone in 2026 that I'm planning that I'm really looking forward to. So going to Pendle would be definitely, I'd be well up for that. Andy says phone experiments are great. Noreen says it's scary to think that just because you were different or you were upset someday, you could be accused of being a witch and then killed.
Yeah.
Hadrian says, how about an experiment on the bridge with the removal of senses?
It's a valid point, because most investigators, when they go out investigating in the dark, I mean, daytime or nighttime, already your senses are heightened because you're in the dark, and without a torch, your eyes are struggling to see anything. So your brain then automatically tries to fill in the blanks of what you could be seeing. So whatever light it can pick up, the brain translates the rest. But then you've got the sense of smell and taste and your hearing. So you can stand there on in this particular case, the Matthew Hopkins Duncan Bridge. You can stand there, your hands in your pockets, whatever, and then just close your eyes, put some white noise on headphones, and then just rely on the two senses that you've got left.
Yeah.
If you just close your eyes and you've blocked your ears off so you can't get anything, you could be able to pick up something there, and that's part of the Estes method. So you can conduct the Estes method on there. The problem is because the Duncan Bridge is right on a main road.
Oh.
So you will get cars coming past. You will feel the vibrations of the cars coming past, and it depending on what time of night you go, you are going to get those vibrations anyway.
Yeah.
But to be honest, it's not really going to make much of a difference whether you remove any of the senses or not. If you're sensitive, you will feel it.
Okay. Yeah.
What's your thoughts, Nick? Because you've been sitting very, very quietly. Just, Louis Armstrong, just tell us to shut up.
Lois, Nick has all the time in the world.
No, it's still cracked, but I got my voice back for the most part.
See? Look! Name that superstar.
I mean, it's although then again, I mean, I think I can understand where you guys are coming from, because I probably sound different on the computer than in person, because I don't hear it.
I think tomorrow night, Nick, you need to change it from Nick Moulet to Nick Armstrong.
Yeah.
Could be Nick Armstrong, things of all the time in the world.
Good that way.
Adrian says Nick is still searching for the broken part of his voice.
Thing is, you can tell I've been on holiday because I'm back to my old self.
Yeah. Funny.
I'm sitting here chuckling because Nick, do me a favour, sweetheart. Do me a favour. Look at your name.
Wait, what is it? See, it's a little bit bright on my side. Let me hang on 1 second. Oh, God damn it. Remind me to about this later.
I know. Yeah, it's so funny. Nicholas says, yoo-hoo, yoo-hoo. Hey, Joe. Hey, Eileen. Adrian goes, so don't move, got it? Yeah, you don't move. Nick says, Adrian says, even, sorry, I'm all Saxon. Oh, I'm deed tonight. I am deed. No, I was about to say Eileen. Adrian said Nick is still searching for the broken part of his voice. No, Noreen says, you're right, Wayne. In my old house, there was dark spirits that came in and went. I knew as soon as I got near the front door if it was there and I couldn't go in and it was in broad daylight. Noreen says you could feel the heaviness.
Yeah.
Adrian's asking, Nick, do you fly or drive?
We drove to Michigan, which that was about a 6.5, 7 hour drive to get to.
Wow.
And we were just literally just a few minutes away from the U.S.-Canadian border. So once you get into that part, you start seeing all these, you see them in pairs, these American and Canadian flags all over the place.
God, if you'd have stayed up there a bit longer, you could have seen the red arrows, Nick.
It's the Upper Peninsula. What do you expect?
Oh, but I find this all very, very interesting. The whole witches. Do you know what, guys? Here's a question for you, and it's your own opinions. Everybody in the chat can join in. But what's the thought? What is your guys' opinion on what the witches would have thought? Who's all died, right? Whether they were witches, no witches, regardless. What would you think? What do you think they would say about obviously today's society? Because let's face it, witchcraft and Wicca and paganism, Satanism, occult is whatever is growing quite strong. So it's more accepted.
If I could speak to all of the witches that were persecuted between 1600 and 1700, I think they would all say one thing.
Right.
Ha ha, told you so.
Be right back.
Because of all of the things that they used to heal people, that got them persecuted as witches in the first place. All you have to do now is look on TikTok. Dandelions.
Yeah.
Best medicine. Nettles. Best medicine. All these cherries for arthritis.
Yeah.
You know, things that we can pick from a tree or pick from the ground and use on our own bodies to help us, which is what the witches were doing 400 years ago.
Exactly.
And now turn around and saying they're the best medicines for you. Like we said a while back, and me and Mark said it, the conspiracy behind dandelions. Your parents told you don't sniff a dandelion, it'll make you wet the bed. Don't touch the milk out of a dandelion, it's poisonous. Don't eat dandelion, blah blah blah. It's good for a rabbit, and we drank it in dandelion and burdock. And then it turns out dandelion root in a tea and dandelion leaf tea and the flower is actually good medicine for your heart. One of the best medicines you could get that is sitting in most people's gardens. But then along comes the weed killer Roundup, who have a lovely dandelion on their front of the bottle. He's owned by one of the biggest pharmaceuticals in the country, in the world even, for heart medication.
Everything's natural, Wayne, isn't it? I mean, I make tinctures out of rosemary. Right, it's really good. I make sprays for me hair colour because I can't use hair dyes. I can use a henna, but I can use the rosemary. I use all sorts of stuff out of my garden. I use it.
And that's the thing. All these witches were persecuted for using these things. And nowadays you can go on to most social media sites and straight away you will pick up a dozen different videos on different plants that you can pick free of charge that are good for you.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you say, stinging nettles. There's more nutrition in that. I can use it in soups, which I do. I make tea out of it, which is full of iron and nutrients. Absolutely amazing. And now you've got all the seeds. It's time to pick the seeds.
Well, they
And-
always said, didn't they, spinach was the best vegetable for iron intake.
Yeah.
But it
Popeye,
turns out that
if you buy Popeye with the one,
yeah, but nettles have more iron in them than spinach does.
Yeah. And I tell you what else I do with nettles as well, right? I get my gloves on and I collect a bucket full of leaves every single year. When they start growing, then get up, pick it, get the bucket full, fill it with water, cover it with a plastic bag for 6 weeks, take it off, smells like shit. Excuse me language. It smells like farmer's spray. Yeah. I sieve it out, put it in a big container, and that's the best fertilizer that you can have for your plants. You're not going to pay hundreds of pounds for bloody poisons that they give you in the shops. It's all there already. It's all natural.
So when you look at it, if you go back 400 years and look at the persecution of witches, that is the start of everything that we've got building up to today, telling us what we can and cannot do. We want to look at ways of being healthier and having a healthier lifestyle, yet the powers that be at that time were trying to stop all of that. They were trying to get you to conform with their way of thinking, their way of life, and people that did that weren't wanted, so they were labelled as witches. Push them out the way, get rid of them. And now all of a sudden it's, hang on a minute, you can't be you can't persecute people for thinking differently or acting in a different way in that manner, and so it becomes acceptable. And then all of a sudden it's, oh, hang on a minute, now they're going to have a problem on their hands, because all of these people that have followed the Wicca way and doing the nettles and the dandelions and the cherries and everything else all natural, these big pharmaceutical companies are going to go, oh, we're losing money because people are going,
exactly.
We need to stop.
Sorry, Wayne, on you go, pal.
So they will then, and they've already done it, you're not allowed to pick wild flowers. It's against the law now to pick wild flowers.
Yeah.
So they've already started stopping you from creating your own medication from nature.
Yeah.
So it's another witch trial as such.
Well, it's exactly the same way. Yeah.
Adrian said, I was going to say if you flew, blame the airline for losing your voice. Basically, you have to blame everybody, Nick. Alan says, we'd all swing. Lorna said, betrayed and terrified, I would imagine. Noreen said, I think witches get a bad press. They were healers. Exactly.
Yeah.
Eileen says, I was a healing woman in a former life. I've been told. Noreen says, people are always speaking out by stuff they don't understand, and unfortunately that was the fate of the witches. I don't know if it's true, but an old lady told me that somewhere in the Bible there's something about being a plant for every illness. And Cal from Things of Mississippi said, hello. Hey, how you doing? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. So
Lois, I'm going to stop you right now because a thought has come into my head and I've got to react to it. You know earlier on when I said where the lake was,
right?
They've moved it. You've just made the same mistake. You have just mixed Missouri with Mississippi and come out with Mississippi. I love it.
Right. Let me tell you something, Mr. Seaton. Tonight, my head is in the fucking clouds. So all my words are coming out like jump.
Yeah, but the thing is, Lois, what you don't realise is you've created material for my brain to react.
That's why I'm here. This is why we work.
See, Mississippi, you've just created a whole new state in America.
Well, then I've got my very own colony. So whoever wants to join my colony, hit me up.
I mean, some of them are saying about the flowers. I've over the last 10 years, I've had 6 sessions of gout, which is a form of arthritis. And the first 2 times, I had medication from the doctor to get rid of it. And because at the time, the first one was a mild case, the second one was quite severe, so I was given stronger medication. But then I did some research and found that tart cherry juice is brilliant for that form of arthritis. So I went out and I brought tart cherry juice, and I brought a bottle that had 2,000 squished cherries in it, the juice of squished cherries in it.
Lovely.
And ever since then, I've had 4 more cases where I've known it's coming, and I've gone straight to the cherry juice, down a load of cherry juice, and it's gone.
Brilliant.
So I haven't even needed to go to the doctor, and that's what they don't like.
Exactly, because they're not getting paid, are they?
No.
Exactly. See, I'll tell you what. I'll let you read. Adrian, don't take the PISS. Leave me alone. Know what? I was going to let you. Do you know what, Adrian? I was going to let you in my colony, but see now, your train is left.
Do you know what? This conversation now is a bit strange, because I've been watching Lost from the beginning, and you're now doing exactly what they're doing on Lost that I'm at the moment, where they've all gone off in their own separate ways. You can stay at my place, but you're staying on the beach. Do you understand?
Right. Well, Adrian certainly ain't coming in at my colony after that comment. He says, certain flowers for sure. Oh, come on. What is with the big words tonight? Right, Wayne?
Trillion.
Fire in. Right,
Trillion.
it's legal to pick here. That's more of a provincial unit.
Provincial.
Yep, issue though. Eileen says, can I be in your gang, Louie? You're definitely in there, love. Even Noreen, God's sake, everybody's coming.
Hi,
Tracy.
It's my next door neighbour.
Oh, is it? Oh, a special shout out to Tracy. Welcome to the show, love.
She's probably she's probably watching the live because she can hear you laughing, Lynn.
Yeah,
probably. She's like, where's all the fun? Adrian says, I've been banned for Lowville.
It's lower sippy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's Louisiana, I think. Do you know
Louisa-sippy?
Well, Louisa-sippy. No, well, that sounds like one of the dodgy bars that you find. It's
well,
like
when I decide to open a bar, that's what I'll call it.
If you want to have a dodgy bar with my name, thinking, Nick, somebody's noticed you're real quiet.
I'm trying not to be quiet. I'm also still trying to rest out my vocal cords, but at least I'm here though.
Yeah, I've got to say, please don't think I'm leaving them out in 10. Please don't think I'm leaving them out. No.
Well, Nick has to take it steady just in case that voice comes back.
Well, Adrian says, sorry. I like that. And for Nicky and your wee gang, Lois, I definitely love that. Nick can't get a word in. Oh, right, Nick, everybody, one sweet, you speak, because to be fair, Nick has been awful quiet. I'd like to poke the bear with a stick to make sure he's awake.
I'm also just waiting for the right time to say something.
Right, we'll shut up. Right, come on, Nicky.
I don't even know what I'm.
Today,
I don't even know exactly what I'm supposed to say right now. Don't want to sure about a question or anything.
Right, I'll ask you a question. Right, Nick. Don't laugh, because then I'll forget what the question was. What was the question? See, this is what I mean. Oh, right, Nick. Here's a question for you. Right, what is your thoughts on? Just see you belting your back. No, do you know what? Oh wow, this is live tonight.
Are we sure it's not Friday?
I'm beginning. It feels like a Friday. Thursday turned into Friday. Oh wow. Nick, do you know what? I'm so dead tonight. I am so literally dead. I cannot think. Golf it. When are you going back to golf it? Because I want to see you.
They were wasn't expecting that question, but okay. They did it last night, but I couldn't do it then because my voice was still in even worse shape than it is now. So I had to skip out on that, unfortunately.
You mean I missed golf it last night? What the hell?
Yeah, sadly, yes. But first off, blame it on Pickle Top because it was a last minute choice. Secondly, I wasn't there. And third, I would have damaged my voice even more because it's still recovery because we yell a lot.
Pickle Tom, I absolutely, you fell down my ladder because you didn't tell me about golf it. What the hell is that about?
Nick, you should have used text to speech.
That's with my lasers. Makes up for Hiya Nation. He's talking about Santiago. That's what Hiya means. And he didn't ask that word. Santiago.
Adrian says, except me, my torch was put out and I need to leave the island. You're damn right. He said, squirrel. And he went, my fault. But yeah, it's been one of those shows, guys. It feels like a Friday. We've acted like it's a Friday.
Well, we started off okay for the first half an hour.
We did.
We just fell apart after.
Yep.
There is actually something I'd like to say because I was just really thinking about this, and this goes back to all this talk about like different things that people were accused of witches for. You imagine right now, like in this day and age, especially with what we do, I can't help but think so much that if that belief of witches was still going on today, and they saw what we did, especially when it comes to investigating the paranormal, you imagine how many people would be accused of witches at that point. We would all be accused of witches for dabbling in the paranormal several times, even investigations. I mean, just think about it.
Yeah, do you know what? See if Nick's got a really good point there. See if it was back in the day, and we were doing all paranormal, we would probably be right up there with witches. We would be right up there. We
would be classed as blasphemers.
Yes, we would. I'm surprised they haven't come after us at the moment. Yeah.
The Church of England and the Catholic Church would have persecuted us for going against the will of God.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So we would have ended up in the same place as the witches would have been.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Totally agree with you there. But Nick's right, what would they think of us? I think if they could come back now and see what we do and how these different groups go about, they'd want to be in your gang.
Yeah.
I think so.
They'd want to be in your gang. They really would.
Yeah. And see, do you know what, guys? I want to pay homage to tribute to all the witches who have died, whether it's Pendle Hill, whether it was in Scotland. I really, really want to pay tribute to them because and even those people who were innocently accused of witchcraft that didn't even do it.
Yeah.
And the thing was as well is that the way they tested as well, like with the dunking bridge, it made no sense whatsoever, because if you were a witch, you would float and you were made of wood, so you were burnt at the stake. If you weren't a witch, you sank, you drowned, and then you were buried in consecrated ground, so you were dead anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So regardless of the outcome of the dunking bridge, you were dead regardless.
Yeah.
So the problem then is how many of those witches that were, or those people that were persecuted as witches, how many of those were actual witches?
See, it does make you think that. So you've got the Witchfinder General, right? He's
Yeah.
onto a good one. He's onto a good one now. So he's going round to all the towns, getting people to snitch on everyone. So all the wives that were answering their husbands back or won't do as they're told by
Yeah.
their husband were being snitched in as a witch. And it was an easy way to get rid of the wives. And
Yeah.
this fella made a fortune being Witchfinder General. Made a bloody fortune. It didn't last long, did it? But he did make a lot of money.
He made a lot of money, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is that it would be individual towns and villages would pay him to go to that place and clear out a village of witches.
Yeah.
It would be individuals, and that because he was self-proclaimed, he wasn't appointed the Witchfinder General. He was self-proclaimed.
Yeah.
He made himself the Witchfinder General. So he took it upon himself to create this job and take it from there. So he made a lot of money at the people's expense because he wasn't paid by the government. He was paid by the people.
That's right. Yeah, it's like being on a commission, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was owning a business, basically, and they were saying, you know, we've got this old hag down the road. She's got a crooked nose. She's got a big wart on the side of her cheek. She smells of horse urine. We don't like her. We think she's a witch. And he'll go, well, give us, I don't know, 2 guineas and I'll get rid of her.
Yeah.
And that's it. And that's all he's done. And regardless of whether she was a witch or not, he would put her through the trials. They wouldn't survive it. So whether she was a witch or not made no difference. He still got paid regardless. You know, if it turned out she wasn't a witch, he'd go, you know, she might have been a witch. She might have been hiding it. And then he'd trot off.
So the punishments that they gave some of the witches, hanging, there was starvation.
Yeah.
And starvation. Exile. Now, I've not heard of anybody being exiled, but I know that they did.
Yeah.
So they must have had people who were exiled. Hanging, beheading,
Excuse me.
stoning, and gouging. Do you know anything about gouging, Wayne?
Gouging usually means your eyes.
Oh.
Yeah. They got in with the old thumbs.
Oh, my eyes don't. Oh, my eyes.
You gouge your eyeballs. So it would literally be like a spoon would be placed inside and it would be out you come.
Oh, my God.
Because it was believed at the time that witches were in league with the devil and could see and speak with him. If the witch can't see the devil, she won't be able to communicate with him to his full extent.
Yeah.
So they would gouge the eyeballs out.
Awful. Absolutely awful.
Oh my God.
And then
Hey, guys,
at the stake as well. Or hung, drawn, and quartered as well was another one.
Oh, that's another thing. Right, Adrian has a question for Wayne. Adrian's asking, is Wayne any more places near you aside from the bridge?
A lot of places near me. I just so happen to live in Britain's oldest recorded town and Britain's first city, and that's Colchester in Essex. We have Europe's largest and most kept Norman keep in Colchester Castle.
Awesome.
And that is was originally built on the Temple of Claudius.
Wow.
Which is pre-Roman.
Yeah.
And then you get into the Roman times. You had Queen Boadicea or Boudica ransacked Colchester when she invaded against the Romans.
Wasn't she awesome?
Then it was rebuilt Colchester Castle was rebuilt, and you can actually go around the castle. And as you look at the castle walls, there are every now and then there are bricks that are black.
Right.
They are the original bricks that were used after Boudicca had ransacked Colchester and burnt Colchester Castle to the ground.
Amazing. Amazing. I just get overwhelmed by all this.
Then you have the Siege of Colchester, and just down the hill from Colchester Castle and the Holly Trees Museum, which is also haunted, you have got a place called the Siege House. And that was where the Siege of Colchester happened during the Civil War.
Yeah. And
on the sides of the building, it's now a restaurant, but it's still the original buildings from the Civil War era. And where the musket balls were hitting the windows and the woodwork, they've put a red metal marker in. So you can see where all the musket rounds hit the walls during the Siege of Colchester. But from there, after the Siege of Colchester happened, Sir Charles Lucas and Robert Lyle were captured and taken to Colchester Castle, where they were executed. And they were taken round the back of the castle, and they were shot by a firing squad.
Wow.
Now, the actual point where the two fell, the grass stopped growing. And everybody reckoned it was because of the life juices, the blood had spilled onto the ground, killed the grass. But they tried to replant the grass. Over the years, they literally put new turf in, it died. Then eventually, when it came to grass seed and things like that, it still didn't grow, it just died. So they put a concrete path right through it, a big concrete path. And right on the spot where Charles Lucas and Robert Lyle were executed, they've put a big monument to them to cover up the patch where the grass would never grow.
Yeah.
But Colchester Castle itself is very haunted. You've got Cavaliers there. Matthew Hopkins kept some of the witches there.
Wow.
Not a lot of people realise that the prison that is there at the moment is actually the men's prison. The women's prison, and this is where it gets really good, because I've been in there investigating about 8 or 9 times, and I've had things happen in there every time without fail, including a table tipping experiment that scared the living daylights out of a lot of people. But me, I was overwhelmed, and I was ecstatic because
I'd be
worked.
like that.
But the women's prison, where they kept the witches, is upstairs where the chapel now is.
Right.
So they have had the Church of England come in, and they've literally, when the witches' prison or the women's prison was turned into a chapel, it's been ordained holy ground by the Church of England or the Catholic Church, whichever one did it. So that's now a holy site. But the problem is, you've got spirits of witches present in that chapel.
Oof, right.
Not a good mix.
Yeah, I can imagine
so
the
every time
atmosphere.
groups go up there, I do little experiments because I know what's in there and I know when things happen. But you come away from Colchester Castle, you've got the Natural History Museum over the road, where we've got a haunted gravestone. And the actual church that the Natural History Museum is based in now is haunted by the Grand Master clockmaker that was buried in the churchyard.
Oh
no! How good's that?
That's pretty mental.
The story behind that was the caretaker of the museum would go round locking everything up, turning all the lights out, and he could hear the sound of a ticking clock.
Yeah.
But the problem was all the clocks in that place were digital. There was no clockwork clocks there.
Yeah.
And he couldn't understand where this tick-tocking was coming from. But as he got to the last door that he had to go outside to lock, and when everything else was all locked up, the noise got louder. So he got out, he locked the door, started walking through the churchyard, but as he got to a certain corner, the sound got louder and louder still, till he pulled back this bush, moved all the shrubbery to one side. The noise stopped, But on the gravestone, and it's still there today, the gravestone was of the Grandmaster Clockmaker of Colchester.
That's amazing.
Wow.
So
That.
ever
No, it
since then, the caretaker has made sure that those bushes and that area is kept clear, because people would hear the sound of a ticking clock and it would scare the living daylights out of them. And the caretaker was like, I'm not having this, so he ain't going to do that to me again. So he makes sure that if he leaves, if the caretaker leaves, they make sure that the next caretaker that takes the job on makes special attention of that area and make sure it's kept clear so it doesn't scare anybody. But then you got the George Hotel is haunted by the Grey Lady, a monk, and a little boy that burnt in a fire there. Every now and then when they repaint the place, the renovations bring out the spirits and it all kicks off in there.
Yeah, disturbs, doesn't it?
There's so many places in and around Colchester and Essex that, you know, are haunted. But sometimes it's getting into them.
How big is Colchester, Wayne? Is it a big city?
Well, I mean, like I said, originally Colchester was the first city in England. It was the capital of Roman England before London was even about.
Yeah.
So when you look at the site, it's obviously not the size of London, but it is getting bigger. So if you could hear that, that was Ellen sneezing.
Yeah, I could hear it.
So I mean, for years it was always classed as a town, even though it was Britain's first city, and we fought for years to get it known as Britain's first city.
Yeah.
Then we got given that little accolade, and then eventually they gave us city stats only within the last few years. But it's still in terms of cities like Manchester and Birmingham, nowhere near the size of them.
Right.
But the borough of Colchester is quite large itself.
Yeah.
But the problem is Colchester is, I say it's a problem, it's not really. Colchester is a garrison city.
Right.
So we've got a big army presence in Colchester.
Right.
And obviously that dates back right the way through to Roman times.
It's amazing.
So
I'm back, guys. Is the comment cheeky beggars? Is the comments been done, Nick?
No, that not yet. I mean, just what's been here since you left. Pretty much
right.
the same
No
way.
problem. Right, Adrian. Adrian says we'll all be labelled witches or worse. It was an easy label for anything that people didn't understand.
Yep.
Adrian says people still do it. I'll come back to what Adrian's saying. If you think you die anyway, Lorna says, yes, Wayne, they couldn't change it. Once they were accused, they were classed as guilty. My guess is 1 out of 100. Lorna said an ND could accuse anyone else without any proof whatsoever or less. Lorna says the north of Scotland had a female witchfinder general for a while. Very well paid job, apparently. Adrian said that wheel thing forgot the actual name yet. And Jacqueline said, hello, Jacqueline.
Hi.
Going back. All right, sorry, on you go, pal. No, on you go.
Well, no, it's funny what Adrian said, saying we'd all be witches or worse. And this is actually another reason why I haven't really spoken too much on the show. I forgot to tell you guys, she's not watching right now, but she has been talking to me. I've been talking with yet another new international paranormal connection. This investigator by name of I think her name is pronounced Ilona, I think, and she's all the way this time from the Czech Republic.
Wow!
Oh, Czech Republic, amazing.
And during the show, this kind of coincides a little bit of what we were talking about earlier. She sent me some videos of, I guess, first ever I've ever seen a Czech paranormal investigation going on, even though I can't understand a thing they're saying, but it was actually really cool. And they had, again, I'm waiting to hear back if maybe at some point I could share the videos that she sent me. She got these voice recordings that I don't know. I don't want to say they're demonic at all.
Yeah.
But they are, without a shadow of a doubt, the most terrifying EVPs I have ever heard. I've never heard anything like this before. And it's at this restaurant that they have in one of the Czech cities. And I don't even know what to say about that. But I was thinking, while you guys were talking about this, I was just thinking to myself, imagine too, the evidence we got, especially this type
Yeah.
of evidence. You'd be executed in a heartbeat. You'd be
Yeah.
labeled as a witch or something
Oh,
like
God.
that. It was
You've just reminded me of something, Nick. I've got to send you an EVP I took while I was on holiday. Sitting on the balcony watching thunderstorms. We had a bolt of lightning and my camera cut out completely.
Jeez.
My phone just went spazzo. It just went nuts. And I was actually rolling on video and then my phone just blanked out. When I went back to it, it was only about 7 seconds long, but there was this really freaky growl in it.
Wow.
And I sent it to Mark, and Mark went, hang on, that ain't right. He said, how long's that video? I said, it's supposed to be about 2 minutes long. But there was a bolt of lightning, and 7 seconds is all it's got.
Oh, wow.
That's great. Well, you know,
But-
the weirdest thing is
Goes,
this video that these videos that I received from Ilona. I mean, they're one of the other videos you don't see it, but you could hear it though. A chair being knocked over in this restaurant. But perhaps the previous part of this whole thing was when she told me, and don't forget, I mean, some of these areas that she was at, just like in a lot of other areas of Europe, she hasn't given me full history of it yet, but I do know, you know, of course, during World War II. And but these voices, I don't know what to make of them, but they are some of the scariest voices I've ever heard. And in fact, in one of the other videos, as they're collecting, I don't know if it's a ghost box session or something. I mean, they're using something to get voices like to be responsive. You could actually hear. I think it got so intense for some of the other folks that were there that you could actually hear people screaming in the background. So it was obvious that I don't know if these were other investigators or if they just happened to be bystanders that happened to be caught in the middle of it, but you could tell they were extremely scared the hell out of them.
Oh, wow. That's pretty mental. We have Wild Bill with us. Long time not see, Wild Bill. He said, my favourite Scott, hello. Hey, Wild Bill. Hope you're well.
Right, I've sent that EVP or that little video clip into the group as well as to Nick.
Sure, yeah. All right.
But I've got one. I actually posted something about it while I was away. Actually, 5 days ago, about New Zealand actually had a wizard. They actually appointed somebody as a wizard.
Wow.
In 1990, the Prime Minister of New Zealand appointed Ian Brackenbury Chanel, an old friend, as the official wizard of New Zealand. Known simply as the Wizard, he was quite outspoken on social issues. For his lifelong service to the community, he was even given the Queen's Service Medal.
Wow.
And he was the official wizard of New Zealand for 23 years until he made sexual explicit comments in public to people. And then he got ousted.
Yeah.
I figured he would.
Adrian's asking Nick, we'd love to have a join Royal Wolf Whisperers. Guys, please check out Royal Wolf Whisperers. You've got a great team there. You've got Adrian, David, Samantha, Chanel, and Dawn. They're absolutely amazing, guys. Really, really down to earth.
Adrian, what I'll do is I'll mention that to her tomorrow because she just messaged me. She said she's already calling it a night. So because obviously, again, in that part of Europe, I think that's an hour ahead of you guys. So it's already like 11 o'clock over there.
Yeah.
So she already said it's almost 11:30 in Czech Republic.
But guys, I want to.
I think she's got a YouTube channel, but it's nice to know, we got another international connection. I mean, she may not watch the show, but she is staying in connection with me.
Definitely. I love the U International connections. Adrian says we're all about the group sharing their evidence. He's an amazing human being. So definitely, guys. Tomorrow night, guys, I will be a bit more alive. So what are we doing tomorrow night? Oh, sorry, haunted asylums. Haunted asylums are round the world, guys. We are going round the world to find the most spookiest haunted asylums that there is. So tune in, guys. It will be a good one. It'll be ourselves and Tim. Tim's coming along again. So he's a new regular for the Friday night show as well. So that's us. What is happening? Supernatural talk in 2 hours' time.
Well, there might be a partial change of plans, at least for my case, because you know what? I decided to tell Jeremy the other saying, so I'm doing Lois's show right now, and according to her and everybody else, I sound like Louis Armstrong right now. I just wanted to give you guys a heads up of how I'm going to sound tonight.
Oh God bless you. God bless you.
Jeremy just got back, and he said, well, I know not this Adrian, the other Adrian will be on, but Eileen may actually be coming back on tonight after several months that she's had to take a hiatus because of her job. She might be coming back. If she is, Jeremy said that he's gonna offer me the night off. So I might
that's good. I feel so sorry for you, my darling. I really do feel sorry for you. But you're going to have to save your voice because next week, guys, we have a double show. No, it's not a double show. 2 weeks. Next week and the week after, guys, Nick Millay will be doing his yearly special at Galveston. It will be an interesting slide, guys. It is really an interesting slideshow. So for the next 2 weeks after, that's where it will be, part 1 and part 2. Next Friday, we have Richard Russell coming on to the show from Dutch Courage. So he'll be getting a good jabbing for me. So he'll be coming on, guys. So that'll be an interesting one as well. So it's all go for the shows.
If I could just say
how many? Thing too, yeah, you carry on while I count something.
I could just say one thing for the Galveston one. I mean, obviously, I know some of you guys have seen it, but for others who haven't, this is going to be definitely a far more serious type of show because honestly, it's a sad story. It's not going to start off sad right from the beginning, but it will be as we get halfway into this about the hurricane that struck Galveston, Texas almost 125 years ago now. And also, we're not only just going to be talking about, and Wayne, you were only here for the second half, and Lynn, you should know, I know you haven't seen it at all, but we're not only just going to be talking about the hurricane itself that struck this hurricane, we're also going to be talking about, it also is going to be about a very well-known meteorologist who tried to basically save the city of Galveston from this devastating hurricane. So it's not only just, so we're also going to be focusing on a historical figure that tried his absolute best to save as many lives as he could. So
that sounds cool.
That's why the actual presentation, it's actually based on, matter of fact, I actually have it right here. Or at least I thought I did.
Showing a bit of leg, look.
Oh, wait, here it is.
Woo! Dixie!
This was actually, this is not a book, but this is an audio book. But, damn it, forget about the green screen. It doesn't show anything.
No, but we got to see it. We got to see a bit of leg, Nick.
Yeah, I wasn't.
Lois,
it's hot outside.
Lois, quickly change his name to Lance Armstrong.
This is what it is. I basically have this name. It's called I don't know if you guys can see it. Isaac Storm. There we go.
Yeah.
So that's what it's called. Yeah. So I call the presentation Isaac Storm Galveston Hurricane of 1900. God damn it. I've already had enough going on tonight. Come on.
We love you, Nick.
Hey,
We love you.
hey,
Hi.
you. Night, Eileen. But you've got, Nick, you've got to admit, I make you laugh. Come on.
You did. You just did here. Oh, Irene. Oh, look. We're just
Irene, just
I hope you're safe, by the way. I know I've been hearing about the typhoon.
Yeah, I really do hope that you are safe, Irene. My thoughts are to you and Amanda during the typhoon.
Yeah.
Poor Nick. Nick loves it.
Yeah.
Nick loves me giving him all that attention. Don't you be kidding. Don't be kidding on you. Oh, Nick, you're killing me.
I must admit, though, it's a good example of the power of suggestion.
As a power of suggestion.
You know, Lois, change Nick's name to Lance Armstrong. You had to add to it.
Listen, see if I didn't do all this. People are coming in now just as we're leaving.
What's up, Chris?
Hey, Chris.
They're coming in and they're going, huh? What's going on?
Irene, definitely stay strong and try. Irene, Chris, Adrian was saying, and Irene's, it's pouring the rain. God love you. 5 weeks, guys. 5 weeks on Sunday.
I know.
There'll be a new show. 5 weeks since Sunday. There will be a show. It'll be done by yours truly. 5 weeks. It will be done by myself. It's going to be a true. What did I miss?
Nothing.
Use naughty. Use are on not 5. 5 weeks, folks. Yeah, 5 weeks. Do you know what, Nick? I'm gonna, when it comes to next week, I'm going to put 4 weeks. It's somebody's excited. You know me. I'm always excited about this. So 5 weeks, guys. Dark Archives with Willow starts. I know I did say that the end of January I would do the craze of the mystical carousel show, but now because I've got my own crime show, I will be putting it through that, guys. But I will be sharing it everywhere. You will still find it in all the networks that we work. So it'll be Ghost Squad Scotland Network, Things Network, BBC TV, but there were 5 weeks, that's right. Nick, you make me sound like I'm an advert. Nick is my salesman. He's definitely a salesman.
5 or 5.
5 weeks. So yes, guys.
How many?
5 weeks. 5 weeks. 5 weeks.
Not 4, but 5.
5. We went to the Urama Cemetery and it was cool. Adrian said, would love to get over there to do some sights with you. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, you're talking about Wayne, so I'm not good enough now. You found Wayne, I'm not good enough. Alright, okay. I see where this is going. Bye bye to you.
Love you really much.
Chicken.
So that would be already seen. Yeah.
Yeah. Irene, I would love to know what you found. Adrian says not 6, not 4, but 5. I fell down the ladder. It's because I'm not Wayne. I'm going to change my name to Wayne. In fact, I am going to change.
4, 3,
2,
1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I remember that. It was a nice chocolate biscuit, that was. Shame they got rid of
It
it.
was.
Oh, sorry, I'll go back to normal. Go on.
That
You need to
see,
change
you
mine now to I'm not Lois.
I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what's happening to this show tonight, but it's collapsed well and truly through the ceiling. Nori says, was that 5 low? You better believe it was 5. He said, normal, that's not fun. What's normal?
We
If it's not normal, it's paranormal.
yeah.
Yep.
That's not, even for next week's show, maybe kind of normal, but my intention is to have it be a rather serious show. So that's why. I mean, there's going to be some laughs here and there, but like I said, it's going to be a relatively serious show, though. That's for sure.
No. We'll be on our best behaviour because I will definitely have the.
Wait a minute. Gotta get
Does that mean
Tom.
I better take a day off?
You're some man. Put Mr. Nally back up here just one moment. Do you remember the carnage you caused on my show at the end of the show with your cock?
Oh, I love your cock.
Do you know what carnage you caused at the end of my show because of it?
That's never going to go away, isn't it?
Have I got to get him out again? Have I got to get him out again?
Yep. 5 weeks, sorry. Pickle talk. Yes, 5. He said, me? No, must have been some other pickle. It did. Tom just, Wayne just ate Tom. Oh my God. But yeah, you had my cheeks so sore, Tom. I found it hard to laugh in the Friday show.
Couldn't
Hang
breathe.
on. Whoa. What's going on here? You just said
my
about
cheeks. Yeah,
showing
they're
his
solid.
cocks and your
Right,
butt
what-
getting sore. What's going on?
Right, what happened was a bit like this. We did a good show on the Thursday. We had Kate, and it was very nice, and it was very pleasant. And then I invited Tom on, who then decided to show me his cock, which I would like to put out there that his chicken. So it was red chicken up on the screen. And the laugh that we had was unbelievable. It carried on backstage to the point where our cheeks were so sore you would think we went for Botox.
Wayne, have you ever seen that TikTok with the chicken? And they have it singing to all the rock songs and they squeeze it in and out. Well, that's what it was. Only
I will
his was red.
openly admit I follow the person that does those videos.
Hey, you know what?
You
know what? Tom just sent this voicemail to me.
See that man? He said, whoa, I didn't feel a thing. AJ says, I'm not saying a word. Sometimes, darling, the best things in life is don't say a word. Nori said, sounded so rude. Cocks and sore cheeks.
Exactly, Nori.
And it was red.
It was.
Oh, real quick, what Irene just said. Wicked Wonders Paranormal Investigators is staying with me here in my. Oh, that's awesome. I was wondering.
Oh, wow. A big shout out to Wicked Wonders Paranormal.
Yeah,
You're staying with our most.
I'm saving up to join Irene in Japan. Irene said to me, come on over. So I'm like, I'm saving up. I need some money.
I forgot to mention something else. Speaking of trips and stuff like that, it was only brief, but my sister and brother-in-law and the baby, they stopped briefly in London just yesterday, I believe.
Oh, wow.
But unfortunately, it was not their intentional spot that they were landing on because they had to fly over to London to board another flight. They were heading over to Luxembourg, So they're currently in Luxembourg right now. And then after that, they're going to be heading to Switzerland next. So they might come back to the UK probably once again to get that second flight. But they only are going to be there briefly because after that, then they're going to be flying back to the US.
Oh, I'm gutted. Because I would have fit in their suitcase rather perfectly. Adrian says, see you. Lou's cheeks are off. That is not true.
Which one?
Well, no comment, Your Honour. On that note, guys. Oh,
sorry,
God,
I had a mouthful of coffee then.
But
I am not even touching that one.
I'm not touching that one, guys. On that note, we are off, guys, and we will see you tomorrow night. Bye, everyone.